Hey, it's Maini Homer here, and today we are with the most amazing restaurant owner in Hobart, Shane Fell from Fellini's. How are you, Shane?
Pleasure to be here, Mark. I wouldn't say the most amazing, but I'll take any pat on the back.
Absolutely. Well, look, I happen to think you're pretty amazing, but then I'm slightly biased, so yeah.
Appreciate that.
All right, awesome. So, Shane, you have an amazing restaurant down there in Hobart. Tell me a little bit about Fellini's.
Yeah, Fellini. Well, I come from the corporate world, so a lot of people might think I was a bit silly. I was guaranteed wages and a high income. Then I had a glass of red and a bowl of red, and I started thinking about getting involved with a restaurant. And it happened pretty quickly, actually. The stars lined up, and I ended up investing into a restaurant in a beautiful location in Hobart, and the heart of the waterfront here. And we've implemented a Italian cuisine, and loved every move. I must admit, though, some mornings you wake up and balancing cash flow and financials in your first year can be quite stressful. There's no doubt about that. But trying to leave a footprint on the land of Hobart with an Italian restaurant, it's a bit of fun. It is a bit of fun.
Awesome. So I heard you say that you're in your first year. When did you actually establish?
Virtually a year ago this week, so it was the 1st of December. It's gone quickly, and we renovated the business, and it's a bit like moving into a house. 6 months later you start moving furniture again, and then it finds its own. And we're very strong with, I suppose, conquest business. We have a lot of tourism that comes to Tasmania, where we're surrounded by some beautiful hotels, high-star hotels, and then obviously our own community that we've benchmarked off, and it's been quite strong for us, to be honest. We're quite pleasing. Like even in 8 months, we won an award for contemporary dining in Hobart or Tasmania. So we're putting the pegs in the right spots, but don't get me wrong, we always have a bad day, and there's a lot of improvement in front of us. But really, really enjoying the experience around the food. It's something that Fellini works really hard on. I think it's pretty important in any business that the first impressions and the last impressions are the ones that have got to stick. We just have to join the dots together in between that. But we'll improve every day, and it's a lot of fun. I must admit, it's just for me to see the expression on someone's face when they taste the food, and the lasting words when they leave a restaurant. Well, that's probably what our role is.
Absolutely. And one of the things I've noticed too with Fellini's is the amount of amazing five-star reviews you get. So I can imagine, unfortunately, I was down there in September and I didn't get a chance to try the food out of my control. However, I can imagine like just how that makes you feel when another five-star and then another five-star pops up. How does that make you feel?
It's, it is a bit of an emotional beast, Google reviews, because everyone that works in these four walls are pretty proud of what they're doing and what they're trying to achieve. And to see the five-star reviews come through is just fantastic. It just gives you a little bit of confidence moving forward that you're putting the right steps in place, and it also important to take the feedback that comes with a five-star review to try and improve from that benchmark. We still get the odd one or two star review. Not, I'll be honest, it's pretty gut wrenching. I really take it personally, and I suppose you've got to try and mature a little bit and put yourself in their shoes. But it's really difficult for me to move from, and I like to reach out to these people to see where that we've let the experience down. Whether it was the food or it was the experience. The ambience on the waterfront. Sometimes I get a little bit confused, but you just have to work with what they see through their eyes, and it's a pretty important pillar in our business is what the customer sees. Because as an owner and as a worker, as you know, Marnie, we can see it a lot differently and think the world's beautiful, but the five-star reviews have been very pleasing. I think we're at around 118 now, which is in a year is quite an achievement. So I even had Google reach out to sort of congratulate me on how we're travelling in that area. So we've got to keep moving, and we can't have the Kodak experience. We can't be complacent, and find a different way. Get better every day.
100%. And I love how as much as you love the 5 stars, I love how you talked about sometimes you don't always get it right. Sometimes, I mean, sometimes it may not even be your fault. Sometimes they might just be having a bad day, and you've got to take that on the chin, and you've still got to stand there, and you've got to do your best to deal with it. And the fact that you can actually do that, that speaks volumes for you. Many people get upset, and I'm not saying you don't, but many people don't deal with it in the right way. So on that note, like when somebody does give you a 1 star and you feel like that, I've seen your responses. Can you tell everyone how you normally respond to a one star?
Well, firstly, I'm always present in the restaurant, so that might help our 5 stars, because if there is a little concern or a challenge, I'm always front of house, and we'll go straight to the source to find out what the problem could be. And as you say, it could be some other tangibles outside the business that can affect a person's emotions. So I'm always at the front of house to make it personal. But I think that the key is to, I suppose, react quickly with that review. If it's a 1 or 2 star review, will reach out straight away with an understanding. And firstly, I think the key word is to apologise, and then work through it. I will give my private number if they want to take it to another level so that we can communicate. And I think people have got to understand that in business, sometimes we think we're doing everything right. And, to have a little bit of criticism, sometimes, it just straightens you up a little bit and gives you an opportunity to have a look at it. And I think you just have to digest that information over time, and then you can probably see where they're seeing it from. So there is some reasoning of how they felt. And then the important thing is how you act on that. If you don't, you aren't proactive and learn from them findings, I think the little grenade can turn into an atom bomb.
100%. And I really love how you'll do whatever it takes, basically. If you can't speak to them on the spot, you'll give out your personal phone number, because it really goes to show that you care about your clients, you care about your business. And I think that's part of the reason, Shane, why you've been so successful in your first year. I see it constantly on LinkedIn. I see you post booked out, or you've got some kind of function going on, which is just incredible, because you're not the only restaurant in Hobart, obviously. So what do you think it is that
No.
makes you stand out from everybody else?
Well, we are, and you've helped me in this area, Maini. I suppose when we first started the business, we were seriously a duck on water. Legs were going everywhere, and business was good. Don't get me wrong. We were a new experience. People wanted to try us, etc. Have a taste of what Fellini's all about. And then there comes that time where that honeymoon period's over, and you really have to start working on your business model. So what happened to us, I would say probably after Mother's Day, it started to quieten down. It was a bit of a light switch. The weather went from the beautiful Tasmanian weather to starting to get to that cold, wintry July type of feel. And what happens is, it's only natural. The tourism probably drops off a little bit. It might be 10 or 20%, because it's a little bit cold to stay inside. Hard to put the jacket on and leave that warm fire by the in the lounge room. So it probably gave us time to re-look at and rehash our business model. And we did with, our things that we can control. I could not control how many people came into the business, but I could control my inventory, my stock ordering, and I could control my wages, etc. And the great thing is, because I'm a hands-on operator, I'm here all the time, so I could cover some gaps. But it had to be more than that, because you can't be too conservative. And I think that you and I started a conversation, which was through a joke, on LinkedIn, probably around May, June, I would say it would be. And we'll just started a great conversation just through a little bit of cold calling, and the relationship grew. And then I think what I found for me with your side of the business is that it wasn't a sell. We were talking about a solution, of how we could improve your floor traffic, because we hear a lot of sell, and there's not a lot about, what do you need, Shane? What solution can we create? What can LinkedIn or Google Ads or whatever social medium can do for you? And I think that's really important, rather than just talking about the features and benefits. And then we highlighted together that we could probably target some areas of influential people in Hobart, and then we'll probably expand. And from that time, naturally, bookings started coming. Naturally, I had got to visit your restaurant, Shane, and the floor traffic. Oh, we met on LinkedIn and shake hands, etc. And I think my followers back then originally, we've only been going for 3 or 4 months. I think it was 500 to 1,000 maybe followers, and now I'm at 4,000 followers and an average of 1,100 views per, you know, every week at my profile. Messaging would be a daily exercise of communication and building relationships, not just about Fellini's restaurant, but just, building confidence in the community of how you can help me, because I've actually completed business with other people, with them contacting me, not through just about Fellini, but understanding that they've got a source, or they've got a business that can work with Fellini. So there has been an amazing amount of opportunity. It really did open up my eyes. And moving forward, it's just a natural behaviour now in my business that the LinkedIn's and the Google, etc., is just part of my weekly cycle, which I think has been quite amazing. And the target audience actually is Fellini audience, which is more important.
100%, because a lot of restaurants out there do not realise the power that LinkedIn can have for their business. I mean, for you, it was a new concept as well, but you were brave enough to give it a go, and we did that.
Yep.
And the results were phenomenal. As you've just said, there's messages daily coming through, people who may have thought about booking in, who hadn't booked in yet, take the plunge, they book in. You start building relationships, and you're not just building relationships with anyone. We've actually targeted that so that we're building relationships with the professional people of Hobart, who are more likely to spend maybe a little bit more with you, maybe a little bit more often. Do you know what I mean? Because they may be a little bit more affluent than the average person in Hobart. And I mean, what an amazing time for you and I to meet, just as things are quietening down. Yeah.
And I think we have to be aware is, to complement what you just said, is that Fellini, the Italian restaurant, is a new business.
Mm-hmm.
So, that there was a little bit of brand awareness that we needed to look at, because if you jump into Google, whatever, in Google restaurants, unfortunately, Fellini is probably going to be down 10, 20, 30 away from the top, because we've got some fantastic restaurants in Hobart that have been there for 35 years. So there was a lot of work in that area. And this just brought it all together, like the whole package brought it together. Now, I think if you throw in an Italian restaurant now, we're in the top three. And, we're starting to become, people's choice, and also, you mentioned about the demographic that we get in. We do have a fantastic demographic, beautiful people, respectful people, and they're not coming here once. And I think that's the real key, is that if a person comes to your business, once, twice, or 3 times, there's a couple of things happening. You build a relationship, they've gained trust. And the last one is a big one for me, and I always talk to the staff about it, is consistency. And the client will notice consistency when it's not there. So that's really, really important. And I suppose, not an egotistical comment or anything like that, but the people who come to our business know that the Shanes of the world are going to be in the business. Mm-hmm. Is that they're going to be there, they're going to be front of house, which I think is really, really important. And that's, I suppose that's the positive with a smaller type of business, but it also can be a negative in some way. But it's really important if you're going to send a message that they see the face that they're talking to.
Absolutely. I mean, you're exactly right. It's all about that know, like, and trust. And this is what a lot of business people don't seem to understand, that nobody is going to buy your products until they've gone through that process of the know, like, trust. And having you there being front of house makes a massive difference, because they've just had a conversation with you on LinkedIn, or they've just
Yep.
seen, something on Google, and to be able to put that, connect the dots there, it's powerful.
Yep.
The other thing you mentioned too, Shane, and this is why you and I are the perfect storm, is so I
Dangerous
get.
storm.
Oh, I know.
Don't get in their way.
But I get into your door basically, and then it's because of the way you are and the way you are with your staff. You keep them coming back, and that's why we make a perfect match. Do you know what I mean? It's like we both have our parts to play, and we
Yeah.
play them exquisitely.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it does, and I spoke about it earlier, and you just mentioned it. It's just all about joining the dots, and I peel back to the 1-star reviews, and sometimes I do get a bit frustrated because there's young adults here. Won't call them kids, but there's young adults in here trying their best, trying to build a career, and these type of you've still got to be a bit of a what's the word, counsellor with your staff when they read these reviews as well, because they take it so personally.
Mm-hmm.
So you just got to talk with these guys daily that this is how it is. If we look at consistency, it's 1 out of 10. Let's look at it properly, but let's not get tied up with it as well, because you are doing a lot of things right. Because it's hard for these kids as well. We always think about Fellini or the owner. There's a lot of onions that peel back, where the ripple effect is that it really hurts some of our individuals who are, put their hand up to be in this beautiful industry of hospitality. Uh, so it is, it's a hard game as well. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. So we did LinkedIn for you. We did Google Business Profile, and we're doing the Google ads for you. But I really want to acknowledge the effort that you've put into, Shane, because this was not just what I did. Okay, this is what we did as a team. Okay.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for you getting those reviews, okay, which is a major part of the Google Business Profile, and people don't realize the importance, my work wouldn't have gone as well so fast. You know what I mean? So it's not the fact that, yes, I've done some things, but it's also what you've done as well, which that's what makes us such a great pair together. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's how it should be. It should be. That's how the relationship should be between a marketer and a
Yeah.
restaurant owner. Agree?
Totally agree. And it's it, you see it. I've managed a lot of people where you still got to take responsibility in what element of the business it is.
Mm-hmm.
As the owner operator or the CEO or whatever your category is, you just can't sit over there and then put the blame game in. You have to give it time, and you have to. If you decide to have a relationship, it's a bit like a marriage. You have to be committed to it. And the key that I found with you and I, and we might have had a couple of issues early just to work out our communication lines, but we worked that out really, really early, is that a high amount of it is the communication between you as the marketer and me as the operator. And we both start to align of understanding of what we're doing and what we're trying to achieve. But more importantly, I have got no knowledge in marketing and how all this works, and that's your skill set. But you've educated me along the way. But at the same time, you sort of comfort me and cuddle me and said, Shane, you don't worry about that. I will look after that for you. You just keep doing what you're doing. This is your role in this team, and if you stick to that role, and if Maini sticks to her role, we'll have some amazing results. And that's probably basically how we've treated it. And we've been together now for 6 or 7 months, and you've thrown things at me, and I've had the confidence to say, yeah, let's have a go at it. And it's always worked out the right way. So it's not as if it's a cash and grab at all. It's about what Maini and Shane can do together, what the results are. And as you said, like you can get paid a lot of money and all this type of stuff, but you see a 5-star review, it's a different emotion, and you see your bookings, it's a total different emotion, and you think, well, what we're trying to achieve is aligning with what the customer wants. So yeah, it's pretty important that when you're in it together.
100%. All right. So tell me, what's going on with Fellini's? What's coming up? Well, like, what are you doing for Christmas? What's happening? New Year's? Tell us everything that's going on.
Well, there's a bit. There's a bit. We've been since the last 7 or 8 weeks, nearly every Friday night, Saturday night, we're virtually busting at the seams, and our bookings early in the week are quite strong. Like, a lot of businesses, if we peel back the onion, a lot of the businesses were closed Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I was the opposite. And I know I'm fresh, I've got energy and all that type of stuff. I was open. So I was open the Sundays, I was open the Mondays all the way through, and now, like, I don't even know what yesterday was, but we were very strong last night. Monday night we were very strong. Sunday night we were very strong. But it comes back to that consistency, knowing that Fellini's will be open. Moving forward, obviously we've got a few big lunches tomorrow. Saturday night, again, we're booked out. Friday night, we're probably on the fringe of watching it before I block bookings. And then we move into that Christmas period. Again, I will be open. So Christmas Day, we're open for lunch and dinner. And the reason for that is that something I'm not Einstein, but listening to what happened last year, and we opened up for Christmas Day and night, there's a lot of probably unhappy people that time of the year as well, that do book in because they want a little bit of a love about them, and also because of the accommodation around our area where they're just sourcing a restaurant. So we will be open for them, and that's booking quite strong. I will close on the Boxing Day just to recharge the batteries for everyone. New Year's Eve, because we're on the waterfront, we're doing a bit of a night. It's $175 a head, 7-course meal. We walk out, watch the fireworks, etc. Those bookings are moving along nicely. So there's a fair bit of activity. Then we had the Tasmanian Taste. So January will be really strong for Fellini again with the Hobart to Sydney, but the New Year's Eve, the festivities. February, there is the Wooden Boat Show on the wharf here, which is one of the biggest events in Hobart. Again, we're right in the heart of it. And then Dark Mofo is coming again in June. So it all looks pretty positive in the next that happen. I've still got to have those little things in the background moving, like our Google Ads and our LinkedIn and our social media. Just, not white noise, but just to make a little bit of noise and awareness that we're still there. We're still front of house. And that for the consumer, that it becomes like a natural behaviour that you book at Fellini's. That's my ultimate goal, is that, is that people think about a restaurant, and there's a reason why we went Italian, because it's Italian and people understand what Italian is that they, if they think about a restaurant, like, even if they don't book, but just if Fellini's is in their mind, I'm pretty happy, because we will get that opportunity at some stage. Don't expect to get everyone, but as long as it becomes a part of the conversation, I think we're starting to do things pretty well.
100%. And that's exactly what we are aiming to achieve with our LinkedIn, just constantly just reminding those people of Hobart that you are the only choice. Let's face it, you are the best choice. You are the only choice.
We want to be your favourite choice.
There you go. That's better wording. You want to be your favourite choice.
I want to be the favourite. Don't be the best. Just want to be your favourite restaurant. I'll be happy with that. If you said that in the streets, I'd be really happy with that.
Absolutely, Shane. So it's been an absolute delight working with you, and I'm loving that we're continuing to go, because I think that shows so much. It shows so much for your ability to understand why continual marketing is important, why it's important to keep. If something's working, don't touch it, right?
Well, I could have easily said no in May, June last year, or this year, sorry, 2024. I could have easily said no if I had my accounting cap on, and my, thinking too much about a P&L or financials, and being conservative. Could have easily have said no at that point. But at the same time, we had to make some noise. Fellini had to make a little bit of noise, and the right noise. And so I started to understand, sit back and think about the investment for the brand, and Fellini, of what's best for Fellini. And to me, you know, we're only 6 months in. What is it, the 12th of the 12th? We're 6 months in, and the investment is not a concern to me anymore.
No. Awesome. That's
I'll
good to
just say
hear.
that.
That's awesome. That's
I'll,
great to hear.
I'll just say that. It's not my concern.
All right. I love that. Thank you so much. So tell us how we can get hold of you, Shane. How can people book in? How can they get hold of you?
Well, they can go to Fellini, www.fellini-restaurant.com.au. It's always on my LinkedIn. It's pretty simple. You book through 7 rooms, but if you really want to go personal, you can have my mobile, which is 0407 872 007, because it is about a relationship. You're more than welcome to text me or ring me direct, and I'll organise it all for you.
Sounds amazing. Sounds amazing. And I will come down and I will come to the restaurant this time on my
Just
own
warn me
ticket.
before you come, because I'll put the prices up.
Oh, of course you will. I knew you would. See? All right. Is there anything else you want to tell us about Fellini's? Anything you want to share with us? You know, any?
Well, I'll just tell you, if you do come to Fellini's, there's probably two dishes which has been going ballistic for the last 6 months. One's called the Pappardelle. It's an Pappardelle Ragu, absolutely delightful. And the spaghetti carbonara, true Italian dish, no cream, no milk. It's got the pepperoni, the parmesan cheese, the guanciale, the pork cheek, giving you beautiful dishes if you're looking for a little bit of Italian pasta, and complement with a bottle of Barbera, which is a small Naboli red grape, absolutely delightful. And more importantly, enjoy the experience.
Wonderful. Shane, it's been a real pleasure to talk to you on this interview today. And again, such a thrill to work with you, and such a thrill to turn Fellini's into something amazing. It's been a real joy. Thank you so much for everything.
Back at you, Maini. Been fantastic.
All right. Awesome. Thank you.